Hey everyone, welcome back to another Cyberpunk 2077 episode. Now in today's episode, we're going to be going over some of the best, and I repeat, best cyberware that you can get actually early game. Now, what do I mean by early game? I'm actually talking about anything specifically before Act 1 or in Act 1, so before you actually get out of the lockdown and can move around the rest of the map or the rest of Night City. We're going to go over all of the different Ripper docks and a special location in the meantime as well, that you guys can get things very early on. Now, I did actually go back to a very early save when I basically had no level, no street cred, and also very, very little money. But I want to show you guys some of the different possibilities that you guys have, starting with this gentleman right here. So this guy actually has a couple different legendary items that you guys can actually go ahead and get. Now, just in case you guys need to know where you can find Buck's Clinic, it's going to be located right here, just a little bit north of this other Ripper dock, which is where we're going to be heading next. And this location is actually going to be Dr. Chrome. So this one actually has some very useful items that you'll actually want to get as soon as you possibly can. Now, the first one I'm going to be talking a little bit about here is going to be the Berserker Mark V. Now, this is not the one that I would recommend early on, unless you're actually going to be pouring a ton of your attribute points and doing a lot of the side quests in Watson as soon as you possibly can, and only going to be focusing on your body. Then maybe this might be the one for you guys. But I think the other one is actually a little bit better, unless you want specifically the Berserker. So let's go ahead and kind of break it down right now for you guys. So you can hold the LB and the RB to activate the Berserker. It significantly boosts your strength and resilience. It reduces weapon recoil by 20%. It increases melee damage by 20%. It increases armor and resistance by 20%. Its duration is only 10 seconds, which is actually pretty long. And then its cooldown is only 30 seconds, which makes it really nice that you can continuously use it very, very quickly. While Berserker is active, jumping from a high height initiates a superhero landing, causing you to fall at a high speed and land with enough force to create a shockwave that damages nearby enemies. I know that there's definitely times that I could use that because I jump over a banister and land on top of a group of people. I just don't know if I would actually use it that often, but that's just me. Defeating enemies restores 5% max health when Berserker is also active, and then it has 3 mod slots available. Now, the one that I highly recommend that you guys get as soon as you get to street cred of 14, which honestly is really not that difficult to get to. Most people probably, I mean, I'm already maxed out and I'm not even barely into the story itself. But look at that. You get a 10 base RAM, you get 8 buffer size, and then you get 6 slots compared to the base one, which is this one right here, 2, 4, and 2. So, I mean, it's significantly bigger. It is $35,000 or 35,000 eddies, but I do recommend that you guys get this one. It allows you to perform quick hats on targets and devices while scanning. It increases the time it takes for an enemy netrunner to actually hack into you by 100%. It increases quick hack spread distance by another 60%. It increases the Cyberdeck RAM recovery rate of 6 units per 60 seconds, which is pretty good. Now, if you're not able to actually afford this one, I would actually go after this guy right here. It's a little bit less, and you can buy it with no street cred. You can buy it instantly. The Biotech Mark II is definitely the option that you guys are going to want to go to, and this is actually the first operating system that I personally bought here just because it was relatively inexpensive. We had the money to be able to afford it, and it actually worked until I was able to get more of a legendary OS anyway. All right, let's go and move on to our next Ripper dock. Now, the next one that we're going to be going to is going to be Victor, and he's going to be located right down here, pretty close to where your apartment is actually going to be at. Now, he does have some actually very good cyberware that we can actually get our hands on fairly early, and I'm not sure at this point in time if I've actually interacted with him or not. I don't think, oh yeah, it's in a brand new area. There we go. So now keep in mind, before you can do anything with Victor here at his Ripper Dock shop, you do have to pay off his debt. So go ahead and do that as soon as you possibly can. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to have access to any of his inventory because he's already fixed you up a little bit in a previous mission. So there we go.
Thanks again.
All All right, so the first one that we're actually going to go ahead and take a look at is an operating system, but it does require you to have a level 15 for the reflexes. Plus, you also have to have the appropriate street cred as well. And then that's actually going to be at street cred of 11. So you actually don't even have to be quite that high in order to obtain this, but you do need to get those reflexes if you guys want to be able to own this one. So this one slows time down by 25% for 16 seconds. Its cooldown is 30 seconds, which is pretty amazing. And you can activate it just like the Berserker. It's the LB and RB. It increases any damage dealt by 15% when it is currently active, and it increases the crit chance at 15% when it also is active. So a lot of things that can be improved when you do have this one specifically active. And then it does have 3 Cyberware mod slots available, and that is the going rate of $35,000. Now, like I said earlier, this one might be a little bit more tricky to get your hands on just because of the 15 level for the reflexes. But the one that I highly recommend that you guys get through him, especially if you guys are into any of the smart weapons, is the Smart Link right here. Now, this one you do need to have a street cred of 11. It does not take very long to get to that point, but then after that, you should not be restricted by any means. And it will allow you to use the Smart Targeting System module on smart weapons. It increases the chance for smart bullets to hit the target by 15% and its crit damage by 25%. Direct links use the user's optical implant to the weapon system, offering real-time data tracking, which is pretty amazing, but it does cost $21,000. So what you just got done paying off Victor, you'll have to spend if you guys want to be able to get this one. I have this in my main save, and if you're into smart weapons, this is a must-have as soon as you possibly can. Now, the next location that we're actually going to go to is this Ripper Dock right here. Now, if you have not found this one, it will not show up on your map. You do have to get into about the general area that I am in order for them to show up, but it's right next to this junk shop. That's the best way that I can mark it on your map, is just go to this one right here, just pretty much a little bit northeast of where your apartment is at. And then just make your way over there, and eventually it should show up. So now that it's actually marked on my map, I can actually go ahead and place the waypoint here. So let's. Now, the first one that we're actually going to talk about is the ballistics compressor. So it increases the chance to ricochet shots with power weapons. It increases the number of time bullets ricochet by 2, and it directly links the user optical implant to the weapon system, offering real-time data tracking. Pretty much just exactly like the Smart Link did through Victor. This one is no restriction except for just the $21,000. If you guys are into the power weapons instead of using smart weapons, maybe this is something that you guys might want to consider going ahead and purchasing. He does have a slightly cheaper version with the Epic. It's virtually just 1 ricochet instead of 2. That's the difference between the $6,000. And then we have the last but not least, we have a skeleton that he has that's a legendary, and that is a micro rotors. So unfortunately, you can't equip this one until you are a level 18 as far as the reflexes go, but it does increase your attack speed by 25%. So if you're definitely into carrying a katana or anything like that, this might be something that you would want to get eventually. I really like the katana, but I don't know if I really want to spend 18 reflexes on that one specifically. I'm not really sure. And again, this one's not super early, but at least you could get it from an early vendor if needed. Now, moving on to the last location that we're actually going to go to is a secret weapon that you can get early, and you can actually equip it really early, and you guys need to check that out. Now, last but not least, we have the hidden one like I was mentioning earlier, and that is going to be for a mono wire, which you guys can get really early in the game. And you can actually get here first of all if you guys would really like to. So you have to go to this gig right here, Shark in the Water. I'm going to show you guys exactly where you guys need to go in order to get this. You're going to get this call from Regina because you're in this specific area.
Who's been extorting regular, hard-working folks.
And we're going to take out these guys here. And it's been a long time since I've actually done any type of fighting with these the lower weapons anyway. All right, so now that you've taken out all of the enemies that are around you for this one, you can actually come around to this side. This is the main area that we walked down, and we came around here to begin with. You're gonna open up this door right here, and the legendary mono wire will be right here. Plus, you're gonna get 2,900 Euro dollars for opening up this one chest. So that is absolutely insane. You guys are gonna want to go ahead and get this. honestly as soon as possible. If you guys have not picked this up yet, you need to do that right now. But that is everything when it comes to some of the best cyberware in the early level, and I'm talking Act 1, that you guys can get your hands on fairly quickly. But hopefully that does help you guys out, and if it does, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. It would help me out a lot and is greatly appreciated. But until next time, YouTube, you guys keep doing what you're doing because you're already doing it, and you guys stay gaming.